The Sports Renegades podcast on SportsTownChicago.com. Welcome back to the Sports Renegades here on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuprich.
And I'm Ryan Risky, and now we're getting our signature segment going, our picks for the week.
Yes, we got the music all queued up and ready to go.
Now, Ryan, recap us on what happened last week.
Okay, last week was Week 14 in the NFL, and Ryan Risky ended up winning 12-10 in the picks. So there you go.
We picked a lot of games right last week then.
Yeah, we did. We did pick an awful lot right. Normally, only one of us gets to the double digits. We both got to it this week, last week, I should say. So that's a good sign.
So spoiler alert: it's time for the picks of the week.
Yeah, where we went wrong was let's see. I believe you picked Philadelphia and I picked the Buffalo Bills. And I believe that one was wrong. And then 49ers in Cleveland, you picked Cleveland. I think Cleveland ended up winning, didn't they?
They did. They killed the 49ers. I remember I was talking with my dad. I was like, Cleveland's terrible, and they're killing the 49ers, and the 49ers somehow beat the Bears.
So that's where I lost, was those two games right there. I did end up picking the Bears, by the way, so that was another loss. But then I gained a point on you. I picked Oakland over Denver, and Oakland didn't end up winning, so I think that was 15-12. That was like a very weird. I think all the Broncos did was hit field goals. So
they did.
Yeah, so that was a strange one. Okay, let's move on to this week. The game that is starting in about a half hour from now. Tampa Bay at St. Louis. Could be the final home game in St. Louis.
I mean, this is just a typical Thursday night matchup.
I know, it totally
I'm going to go
is.
with Tampa Bay. They've been pretty good as of late. Jameis Winston is not turning the ball over like a lot of people expected.
Yeah.
And he's just playing really well. Him and Mariota have been great. I think Tampa is going to win this game.
I'm also going with Tampa Bay. Jameis Winston's been playing pretty well, and they seem to just be sort of, a team that's hanging around. They're obviously not going to win their division. Not with Carolina.
They could come in second because Atlanta's just been terrible since their 5-0 start.
They could come in second. They're still hanging around the wild card, so that's a plus for them. I don't think anyone thought they would be there at this point. St. Louis is just so bad. Jeff Fisher really is bad. Everyone, continues to think he's a good coach. I hope they sort of stop thinking that.
Yeah, their offense just has never been good under him.
No.
They do want him to return next year.
Yeah, that's like the wrong step already. So next year that they're already down. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay as well. Okay, Saturday. We're starting those Saturday games now. Whoop-de-doo. Jets at the Cowboys.
Got to go with the Jets. I mean, the Cowboys just aren't a good team right now. They're one of the teams that have been hit with injuries the worst. They're one of the most injured teams this year. They're just not very good right now. I think you got to go with the Jets.
I'm going with the Jets as well. This is sort of an easy pick. The Jets have been playing better the last 2 weeks, and
Brandon Marshall's been on a tear.
Yeah, he has been on a tear, and Dallas, doesn't really have anything going for them.
Right, especially when right now Matt Castle can't even get the ball to Dez Bryant.
Right, and also most teams have been able to shut down Dez Bryant for most of the season when he's been healthy. He was out for
although
the whole middle
I
of
think
the
he only
season.
played 1 or 2 games with Tony Romo, though.
Right, and so, that's pretty easy. I think the Jets could possibly blow them out because they have such a good defense.
Right, and then, Ryan Fitzpatrick has been one of the big surprises in the NFL this year with how good he's been.
Right. Okay, this is a big matchup here. Carolina at the Giants. This is a must-win for the Giants, really, if they want to stay, in wild card contention and try to stay atop of their own division. And Carolina still undefeated, looking for a perfect season. What do you think is going to happen here at the Meadowlands?
I think that Carolina's going to get the win. I think for Carolina's sake, if their fans are smart, they are not really that. It's just they're the kind of team if you're a Carolina fan, you should probably be thinking you want them to lose at least a game because they're a team that is that could easily be upset in the first round. They're a team that to me they're the kind of team that could lose in the first round or that won't win the Super Bowl. I don't think the Panthers will win the Super Bowl. That's why I think they're better off trying losing a regular season game just so that they don't have an undefeated regular season and not win the Super Bowl.
Did you say you're going with Carolina though?
Yeah.
I'm really torn on this. I think I'm going to go
Cam
with
Newton has been playing out of his mind recently. I mean,
yeah.
he's got the deep ball working with his not talented receiving core. He's been getting them going. I mean, he had a 5-touchdown game. I mean, he's just been playing out of his mind. He's on fire. He's probably going to win the MVP of the league.
Yeah, no question at this point that he'd win MVP. Yeah, but I'm going to go with the Giants. They played really well against Miami. Now, I know it's Miami, but they played really well. Anytime Odell Beckham Jr. is just wide open downfield, it's a touchdown. It's a guaranteed touchdown when Eli throws
I want to
it.
know why teams are letting him walk behind their secondary.
I know.
It's happened multiple times this year.
And then he had another spectacular catch in the end zone in that game where he kept his feet just in bounds enough for it to be a touchdown. And I just really feel like this is going to be a big offensive game. I just think the Giants are going to make more offensive plays. Eli can throw the ball down the field pretty deep.
It could be. Norman's going to have to shut down Odell Beckham Jr. at the Panthers for the Panthers to win.
I'm going to go with the Giants just for sake of argument here. Tennessee at New England. This one should be pretty easy.
England.
Yes, I agree. New England. Rob Gronkowski is back. He's a full participant, so everything should be okay.
It was a big lift getting him back last week to give Tom Brady someone else to throw to.
Right. Here's an interesting matchup. The Bills at the Washington Redskins.
That's really tough. I mean, both teams are fighting for their playoff lives. I think that Buffalo's going to win this game. I think Tyrod Taylor is going to have a good game, and I think Sammy Watkins will be running over the Redskins secondary.
Wow, I'm actually going to go with Washington, and I think they'll keep the pace. I think right now they actually lead the division because they have the better division record. Currently, I know they have the same record.
This is the kind of game that could go either way.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Washington. Kirk Cousins been playing really well. Jordan Reed had an excellent game against the Bears last week. And I just feel like they have a couple more offensive weapons than the Bills do. I'm going to go with Washington in a close one. I think it's going to be a close game, as most Washington games are. Kansas City at Baltimore.
Yeah, this should be a no-brainer. Kansas City has been on fire. Alex Smith has taken his level of play to the next level.
Kansas City seems to improve every single week.
Exactly, and they're doing it without Jamal Charles. Alex Smith has trust in Jeremy Maclin as a number one receiver. He's throwing to Travis Kelce. And Shanderick West has done a nice job in Jamal Charles' absence to his torn ACL. And, I mean, who are actual starters on Baltimore? I mean, everyone that's starting is pretty much a backup because they've been hit so hard with injuries. Mark Trestman's offense still looks terrible. You got to go with Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm going with Kansas City too, and they're a wild card team. They're in a pretty comfortable spot right now to hold on to that wild card. Houston at the Colts. They have identical records. Whoever wins this will be atop that division.
I think Houston's going to win. The Colts are just not very good right now.
I agree with you. I'm going with Houston. Their defense is strong. They should be able to take care of Matt Hasselbeck.
Right. They lost like 51-16 to Jacksonville.
Right.
I mean, T.Y. Hilton had a good game, except you really are seeing the absence of Andrew Luck and a really good Andrew Luck, and their coaching staff I don't think has been able to help them win games. When you lose a lot of starters, your coaching staff is one of the main keys that you'll need to be winning games, and they're not getting that from their coaching staff. Yeah, that's the
first thing to go will be the coaching staff in Indianapolis.
I think their general manager is going to be getting a pink slip too.
Certainly possible. There's a lot of things internally wrong
because
there.
Even Chuck Pagano even said they don't have an offensive line. He's like, Andrew Luck should be used to playing behind an offensive line that doesn't protect him.
So we're both going to go with Houston there. Atlanta at Jacksonville. This is kind of intriguing. Atlanta's on the downslide.
I'm going with Jacksonville. Blake Bortles and Allen Robinson and the rest of that offense have been terrific. Atlanta's been terrible.
I'm going with Jacksonville as well. They've been just playing a lot better than Atlanta has.
If you take away Julio Jones from that offense, they have trouble getting to midfield. Because, they lost 38-0 out of the Panthers, except, they just haven't been able to do anything. Even in the games that the offenses look good, it's almost all Julio Jones.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
Devontae
agree.
Freeman has had some really big games, except I don't think Devontae...
Not the last 3 weeks.
Yeah,
I know that from fantasy.
Yeah, no. If you take away Julio Jones, I really think that would make Devontae Freeman not look as good either. He wouldn't be able to carry the offense the way Julio Jones does.
I agree with that. I think Devontae Freeman, this is his one good year. I don't think he'll be nearly as good in the coming years.
Yeah, you're just kind of wondering with them if it's their offensive system that Matt Ryan just isn't syncing with the new offensive system, and the only person he's clicking with is Julio Jones.
Yeah. Okay, the big matchup of the week, the Bears at the Vikings. What's going to happen?
I think the Vikings are going to win. I think it'll be another close game. It'll be a one-score game. I think Jay Cutler will have a chance to lead the Bears to a game-tying drive, and then the Vikings will find a way to pull it out in the end.
I am guaranteeing Robbie Gould will miss a field goal at some point in this game. He will miss a field goal at some point in this game, and it will ruin the Bears again 3 weeks in a row. I think the Vikings pull out a win that the Bears are going to dominate throughout the game, but the Vikings are going to win this game. Adrian Peterson's going to have a couple rushing touchdowns.
That kind of sums up a lot of Bears games this year. They dominate almost the entire game, and they just do enough to lose.
Right. And I think Adrian Peterson, a couple rushing touchdowns to be the difference as well. Green Bay at Oakland. Oakland had a nice win against Denver.
They did.
Now Green Bay goes into that crazy place.
I think Green Bay is gonna win. I mean, the offense has been looking a little better, recently. I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna have another big game against Oakland. I know Oakland's offense has not been as good. Amari Cooper is dropping every pass.
I know. I don't even want to start him in my league anymore.
I mean, Amari Cooper, he had such a hot start. Now he's being plagued with drops. I don't think Green Bay is going to help him get back into rhythm this week.
No, I don't think so either.
Amari Cooper still is going to end up being one of the top receivers in the NFL. He's just going through some growing pains as a rookie right now.
As much as I want to go with Oakland, I'm going to have to stick with the Packers. I think they're going to win. And I think it'll be a close first half. I think they take over in the second half and win by a couple touchdowns. Cleveland at Seattle. Seattle's been on a roll lately.
Yeah, and Cleveland is not good. I mean, they beat the 49ers, except that doesn't say much. So I think Seattle's going to have an easy time with them. Russell Wilson has been unbelievable recently. He's been having in between 3 and 5 touchdown passes a game for the past 3 weeks.
Right, and my underrated pick in my league was Doug Baldwin. I picked him up off the free agent list.
He's having at least 2 touchdowns a week now.
He had 3 last week.
He could be the first Seattle wide receiver to break 1,000 receiving yards since Russell Wilson became the starting quarterback. Right now, the most receiving yards any receiver for them has had is Golden Tate at 898 his final year with them.
Right, and Seattle's had a pretty easy schedule these last few weeks. I think they're going to
It's helped them get back on track, though.
Yeah, it certainly has, and they'll beat the Browns pretty easily. Okay, Cincinnati, and I guess we don't know if Andy Dalton's going to.
It sounds like A.J. McCarron's going to play.
Yeah, it looks like he'll be ruled out, and then we'll have so it's Cincinnati at San Francisco.
I think Cincinnati's going to win. A.J. McCarron's going to have a really good first start in the NFL.
I think it's going to be a relatively close game because Cincinnati seems to do that against bad opponents, but I think...
And it's the end of the season.
And it's the end of the season, and they got to get ready for that first-round loss in the playoffs. I think they're going to just beat San Francisco, so I agree. Cincinnati wins.
I think A.J. McCarron will have no turnovers in this game.
Miami at San Diego.
This is 2 not that great teams. I think Miami's going to win. San Diego, they've been the most injury-riddled team in all of the NFL. They're going to have to do something about they might need to find a new athletic training staff because, this is getting, unbearable. It seems like of the 53 players that started on their roster, I wouldn't be shocked, if 30 or 35% of them were on the IR right now or more.
I agree.
Phillip Rivers is doing all that he can. There's nothing else that he can do. And, the offensive line is all banged up. Their wide receiving core is all banged up. Melvin Gordon has not transitioned into the NFL very well at all. He just doesn't have enough help on offense right now.
We're both going with Miami, and now we're getting into probably the prime matchup of the week. The Broncos at the Steelers.
Broncos at the Steelers. That's a good game. I'm going with the Steelers. Big Ben and Antonio Brown are going to have a big game.
I'm going with Denver on the road. I think Brock Osweiler will have a better game as far as offense is concerned, and I think we know how good the defense is. I think they'll be able to turn the ball over on Ben Roethlisberger a couple times. I think Denver wins by a field goal.
Really? I think the Steelers are going to win. I don't think Brock...